I was like, do I need a graphic or anything? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Kickback presents the post-game show. This is where me and Mace will discuss the post. It's like our inside. It's like our own inside the NBA. We will discuss the happenings of college basketball, specifically with the Memphis Tigers, because it'll be after every Memphis Tigers game and after every Memphis Grizzlies game. So if you are new to the Kickback, you don't know who I am. My name is Jamal. I'm the host of the Kickback. And friends of the show, been on before, but Mace, introduce yourself to the people so they know who you are.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Mason Massey. I'm over at the Barn Burner. Got a show called the Backdoor Cut Show where we talk NBA. Me and Jamal met through our last job, which happened to be with the Memphis Grizzlies. And we immediately clicked, been friends ever since. Got some family ties in there, brothers, like come to each other's weddings, even though I had to visit Jamal's on Zoom this year. But next year we'll be at the reception.
Yep. It's a truly a family affair over in this thing. And like May said, it's what we do. And we've been trying to do something like this for a long time. And here it is. So tonight's game was the Memphis Tigers versus the Wichita State Shockers here in Memphis down at FedEx Forum. Tigers win 72-52, 20-point win.
What was that?
It was 72-52, a 20-point win. Now since this is the first show and we're just getting to know each other, we got to get our biases out there so y'all know the way where we're coming from. Mace is a proud graduate of the University of Memphis. And I am what people would describe a University of Memphis hater. I don't think I'm a hater. I'm just a realist. I call myself a college basketball realist. And so I just remember that as we talk about these things and as we talk about what's going on. So Mace, you watched the game tonight. We both watched the game tonight. What were your takeaways from the game, bro?
Well, first of all, just coming into it, what Wichita State has done up to this point has honestly been amazing. They had the scandal with Greg Marshall. They had, I think, 7 players transfer. Their top 4 leading scorers left the team. And, I mean, you really couldn't be in much more turmoil than they were right before the season. And then they come into this game, they're 8-3 and 4-1 in the conference, like just hooping.
Which is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy.
But, hat tip to their coach. What was his name? Isaac Campbell or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I forget it. He's the interim coach. He took over, like I said, for Greg Marshall 2 weeks before the season started, something like that.
Yeah, so just first of all, I was really impressed with them coming into the game and super depressed with my Tigers because, I mean, I don't need to explain it to Memphis fans. We all know how this season's gone. We had high hopes last year, didn't live up to them, had high hopes again this year. And so far, we're 6-5, 2-2 in the conference. But after tonight's win, 7-5, 3-2 in the conference. We came in number 71 in KenPom, and Wichita State was number 70. So, we actually beat a team better than us, although we were the favorites to win.
Look at that.
It's been a while since that happened. I think last year's Cincinnati game maybe was the last time that happened for the Tigers. We're favored to win most of the games this year that we've lost. So just kind of some background of my thought process coming into it. Then we get into the game, Jamal, and I look up in the starting lineup, and who do I see but Jaden Hardaway, the glue guy. All right, now I'm not here for any Jaden slander because I think when he is on the court, he makes the team better. He's not, and we'll dive into what some of the problems with the Tigers are, but he's not selfish. He's just out there to keep the ball moving and play defense and take an open shot when it's there. So I was happy to see Jaden rewarded with that, although he didn't do anything with those minutes really and didn't play a whole lot throughout the game. And Alo didn't start, so we started with no point guard. So, I mean, it's just a crazy time for this program. And then the first half got going. Fucking Musa almost breaks the backboard with a hook shot, bro. Like, have you ever seen a worse hook shot than what Musa has to offer?
The best thing about this game was the fact that Dan Dockage was commentating. And his disdain for the Tigers is palpable. You can hear it when he talks. And he was trying to say nice things about Musa, but he just couldn't. There was nothing he could say about Musa that was nice when it comes on the offensive end. And his offensive game is terrible. It's terrible. There's no other word. I'm going to use the word terrible a lot tonight, but there is no other word to describe Musa's offensive game outside of 2 feet from the basket other than terrible. And it was a terrible shot.
And then he followed it up later in the half with a air ball that he only shot about 2 feet, and he was like 4 feet from the rim. So,
right.
I think Dan called him a 1-star when he's 2 feet or more away from the rim.
He called him a 12-star on defense, but a 1-star on offense when he's more than 2 feet away.
So Musa's lack of touch, man. I've never seen anything like it, honestly.
It's for somebody that big. You would think that he would have more touch more touch to himself.
Bro, we had a 6'7" guy in middle school, just a tall dude that couldn't do anything that we was trying to get to turn into a basketball player. He had better touch around the rim, and he could barely run up the floor. One thing Musa can do is run. That boy's fast.
He runs like a gazelle. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That's what they like to say. Let me do something real quick. I'm going to do this. Boom. Let's go here. While we're talking, Mace.
Can
you see that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we got the stats pulled up.
We got the stats pulled up, so we can see what's going on. So first half of the game, like you said, I took my notes for the first half, right? And I called that half the 3T half. Turnovers, transition defense, and terrible shots. Those are what took over Memphis. It was a bunch of turnovers, some sketchy transition defense, and terrible shots. And the terrible shot selection is not just for this game. That's for ever. They've always shot bad shots. I mean, this is what they do. They just take bad shots. So, yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, I got one more T to add to you, and it's what kept the Tigers in the game. 3-pointers, because they went 6 of 9 in the first half. We shot 32% from the field, but went 6 of 9 from downtown and had 10 turnovers. And that's how we were able to overcome those 10 turnovers and go into halftime with 25-19 lead or something like that?
25-19 lead. The Tigers had 10 turnovers at half. Wichita State had 6. But kind of to your point, the Tigers shot 32% while Wichita State shot 26% from half. And there's one number I want to highlight for this game, and is this number right here. Alex Lomax being 2 of 3 from three-point land. This was the first game he made a 3 the whole season. He hadn't made a 3 the entire season, and he comes into this game and he makes 2. That was kind of a back-breaking thing for Wichita State at one point, because they left, the scouting reports said leave him open, and then he makes 3s. And another thing in that first half that it is typical of Penny and how he coaches. First off, the starting lineup was weird, was stupid. Starting lineup was stupid. Yeah. Jaden doesn't never need to start. Jaden is a great glue guy, like you said. He doesn't need to be around your starting lineup, especially when you've been talking about the point guard position and you haven't really found your point guard. But in the first 10 minutes, he played 10 players. And you running them in and out, nobody can get a rhythm. People don't know when they're coming in. There's not a rhythm to the substitutions. There's not a rhythm to the rotations. So people are out there kind of just playing with their head cut off in the first half. And then the second half, when he kept the lineups consistent for their first 6-7 minutes, that's when they ran off.
Yeah, and another thing is DJ Jeffries, who Penny himself has said is our best player. When we were coming into the season, he was also taken out of the starting lineup. And I mean, he looked like he's going through the worst breakup in the history of college. He has no enthusiasm. He did get on to, I think it was Boogie Ellis one time, which I like to see a little fire, even though I thought he was in the wrong, because Boogie tried to throw a pass to him running up the sidelines and he just wasn't looking for the ball. Yeah. And then he yelled at Boogie. And I think he was in the wrong in that situation, but I enjoyed the fire, like, because DJ, you don't get a lot of emotion from, and he's just been struggling so bad, man. He left so many shots short. So I wanna ask you, what do you think the deal is with Alex Lomax and DJ Jeffries?
We got a viewer who says Memphis is trash. Go Vols. No. What is the deal with Alex Lomax and DJ Jeffries? Initially, the first thing that pops in my mind is coaching and how you use them. DJ Jeffries has been called the best player on this team by the coaching and the coaching staff, but they're not putting him in positions where he could succeed. He lost half of last year to injury, so coming back this year, he had these expectations, and the way the season started, it just wasn't. He wasn't put in positions for him to be better, or for him to get better. Like, nobody on that team has gotten better, and that sucks for people like DJ. I look at DJ. I said this before, and people call me a hater, because they say I am. But DJ is just like Nick King, and DJ is just like Adonis Thomas. All of them have these all same similarities, all from Memphis, go to Memphis, and they just look lost on the basketball court because they're in a system that doesn't highlight what they do. When Nick left Memphis and went to Alabama, where he didn't play, where he ended up at MTSU, and it was a system that was kind of made for him, killing. He was killing. He looked a lot better and all that stuff. I think it's the same thing with DJ. This system that Penny is running, if you want to call it a system, because it's not really a system, is not conducive to getting the best out of DJ. And Alo, I think Alo's relationship with Penny is what hurts him because Penny has Alo on such a short leash. He can't make mistakes. He can't get in the rhythm. You yank him in and out of the starting lineup for 2 years. You recruit over his head, right? First off, this is your boy. You recruit over his head, and you bring in all these better players who are supposed to be better than him. But when they get there, they're not. And now you have to go back to him. But when he messes up, when he's not doing anything, you yank him. So their confidence is gone. It's like you said, man. DJ looked like he lost a puppy. Like his dog ran away. And this is the first time Alo has won the game every 5 games. So next, in the game against ECU on Sunday, he's going to turn the ball over like 6 times. This is how he is. So yeah, DJ's sucking right now. DJ sucks right now, and it doesn't look like he's having fun playing basketball.
Okay, so on Alo, I'll agree that he just needs to be the starting point guard full time. The team has played its best when he's the starting point guard, and we saw that in the second half, which we'll get into in a minute. After he made a 3, he turned into a different player. He was attacking, and like, dude, well, I'll say that. But back to DJ, what system will work for him, bro? Because I'm not really buying that. This dude's missing bunnies. I mean, he could have had 12 points tonight just off layups he missed. Like, we tried the NBA offense, it didn't work for him. Now we're running the middle school flex offense that's not working for him. I just can't buy that it's a system thing with him.
Well, I think my system is more like opportunities. And I don't know. I didn't watch DJ that much in high school, so I don't know. And I'm assuming on the AAU level, it was way more free flowing. I can't say.
Yeah.
But I think that DJ is one of those players where he has to know where his shots are coming from. I think that that's something that benefits him. He knows this play is run exclusively for me to get a shot right here. Boom, that's what I'm gonna do. I also think that he's such a team player to a detriment, because he is one of the ones who's come out a lot of times in support of Penny and saying we have to do better for coach. We have to do this. Coach wants us to do this and that, da, da, da. When people like Landers, they're like, nah, give me that ball. Give me that ball. It's going up, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think it's that, and then something happened where he's lost his confidence. For a guy who, like, this team hasn't played, this is their second game in what, 3 weeks? 2.5 weeks? You haven't played a competitive game of basketball outside of somebody on your team in 3.5 weeks, and these are the performances that you come up with. It's not right. It's not good. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a combination of all of that. With Alo just needs to be the starting point guard. You just got to have him out there. The team runs better with him. And you just got to live with his mistakes. That's the same thing. I mean, that's what all new coaches do. The same thing that Josh did. When Joe would have a turnover, he would yank Joe for no reason. Not for no reason, but he would yank Joe really quickly. And that just takes the confidence away from some of these players.
Yeah, I agree. And just to put a bow on the first half, I thought the sequence that really changed the game. Landers not only hit a three in the corner, then on the defensive end, Musa Cisse got a one-handed block that he just stole from Udeze, like just grabbed it, boom, gave it to Landers, who got a pull-up bucket. And I thought that was when we really made our separation. I mean, we didn't score a whole lot of points. Landers had 8, and that was a third of the team's points. So that was a big sequence that I thought kind of set us up for the second half. So what was your initial thoughts on the second half?
My initial thoughts on the second half is kind of like what I said with a few minutes ago. The fact that Penny let that same group of players play for a long time together. I think that meant a lot. It gave them. That's when they started pulling away, and that's when they got some confidence. And Alo got in the lane and dished it to Musa for like 4 straight times. Like Musa was getting dunks and dunks and dunks. Wichita State is terrible. They suck. They are like, I don't want to agree that much with Dan Dawkins, but he was definitely like, yo, bro, like it's a simple game. Every time they drive down, make Alo make the layup. Why are you helping off of Musa Cisse? Don't help off of Musa. Make Alo make the layup. Make him make a tough shot. You helping off of Musa. Musa gonna just get it and dunk it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was happy to see that they were very, very good. They were okay in the half court, a lot better than they usually are. And their defense is always good. Their defense is always really good. And they turn into transition buckets or easy buckets. So there was a second half to me.
Well, yeah, and they turn them into transition buckets that should be easy buckets. If this team made even half the layups that they missed, I mean, you're looking at a 35-point win.
Right. They missed 10 layups this whole, like maybe 12 layups this whole game. Like you make those, it's a completely different game. The one thing that I didn't, let me see, check out my notes. Yeah, the threes. I said Alo made another 3 in the second half. DeAndre Williams, who's come down to earth a little bit, made a 3 in the second half, and he's only made 2 all year. So there was the thing. They got some confidence, and the confidence started going throughout the whole team. Musa gets some dunks, Musa gets some blocks, and the energy picks up. Then there's a steal, and then there's this and that, you know. So all of that played a part. It was a good team. The second half is a half that team desperately needed.
Yeah, and you hope it's something that they continue to build on. And what gives me the hope for that is we've seen this team get leads before, and then they crumble in the last 5 minutes and they barely win, or they lose the game. We just saw 2 games with Tulsa where they should have won the game. They were leading the game, and then they just blew it.
They blew it, and I'm going to say they learned from that. I hope they learned from that. But if not, first off, they should have beat this team by 20. They should have beat this team by 35 points. They should beat on Sunday. They should beat the next team by 25 points. They already have a 10-point advantage before they step on the court. And so for them to actively try to lose it is the craziest shit, because the game is won for y'all. You have the most talent. But yeah, that's that.
And so a couple things that I noticed. One, Lester Quinones was guarding Travis Etienne. And he was averaging 18 points a game coming into this one. He's Wichita State's leading scorer. They run through him. Lester just took him out of the game. He was 1 for 12, had 3 points. Lester was guarding him, and then Damian Ball, when he came in, with that trash-ass face mask, ended up taking it off because it looked like they just like made it for him right before the game or something. Like, don't put him out there. And they're like, that's not protecting anything.
Come on, Dave. That's not it, bro.
And I'm sure he was just wearing that because he had to. And then he was like, no, fuck this. I'm not wearing it. But so Leicester shut down their leading scorer. That was huge. And then the rotation was cut down. I don't think we saw Boogie Ellis in the second half.
We did.
We didn't see Lance Thomas until mop-up duty.
Yep.
And we didn't see a lot of Jaden in the second half. And we didn't see Malcolm Dandridge, but very little in the game. Like, he might have got to 6-7 minutes. Oh, it's right there, 7 minutes. So, yeah. So finally, maybe cut down the rotation some. And, it's so hard because these players aren't consistent. So it's hard to blame Penny because, like, shit, who do I put in? Like, you suck for 5 games, then you have a good one. Boogie's good the first game, and then, like, looks like he doesn't even belong at a mid-major. For me, it's hard to fault Penny because he's just trying to find something that works. I mean, I know when you were coaching JV games, you're like, what do I do? Like, these guys.
You saying it's hard for you to fault Penny. It ain't hard for me to fault Penny. I can find all the fault, and I can find all the fault in Penny Hardaway in some of his coaching decisions. But in this, he is like ramming his head against the wall, trying to figure out what to do.
Do you think that Penny's coaching style or decisions lead? I mean, I guess obviously all of this comes back on Penny. If your team doesn't perform, it's on you as the coach. So I'm not trying to take up for him and say he's done a fantastic job or anything, because that's obviously false. But do you think it's his coaching style or offense that leads to all these turnovers?
I do. I think that there isn't a clear understanding of what they want to do on offense. A lot of people throw around the word identity. I don't think they have an identity on the offensive end. They obviously have an identity on the defensive end. They're a very tough-nosed defensive team. But on the offensive end, you don't know what they're doing. Like, you mentioned that sequence in the first half where Landers Nolley hits a 3, Musa gets the block. I think Landers hits another mid-range.
Yeah.
And then Penny takes him out. Or something happens where Penny just does something. It's like, bro, like, he's finally getting going. This is the time when you run down, you come down, you run a play just for him. He just hit 2 shots in a row. Give him the ball. Let him do something else. And so I think that one of my old coaches, Kevin O'Neal, crazy ass KO, used to have this saying when we were at USC, because we didn't have that much talent on USC's team. And that's where I got that philosophy of those players play well when they know where the shot's coming from. So every time down the court, we ran a set play because I'm comfortable with these guys, and these guys are comfortable running these plays, and they know everything about it, about the play in and out. Like, imagine if the Tigers came down and ran. They tried to run flex, but everybody runs flex, and they didn't run it good. They don't run it well.
Bro, that's a good point. This is the worst flex offense. Like, it's not hard. I'm sitting here on the couch like, bro, you go there, like, then you come through. Like, it's not hard.
It's the worst flex off. Like, imagine if they just constantly ran horns, or out of the horn, a 1-4 high set where you get the guards moving, something like that. Knowing where your shots come from, being able to put those players in the best positions. I think that's the thing that offense is missing. Like, if you had a player like Boogie running that offense and can do the dribble drive or the NBA style thing, I think since Boogie's a more dynamic scorer, he would have the defenses on him a little bit more than Alo does. Usually with Alo, they can just sag back and there's not really much that they have to do. So I do think that this next season, I don't think that he needs to bring in a veteran X and O's guy. I mean, you just got to put in a couple plays that your guys can run, and that you feel comfortable with your guys running, and go from there. Like, if you got a play that's unstoppable, the pick and roll works for a reason. Because if you do it right, everybody knows how to stop. Everybody knows how to guard a pick and roll. People still score out of pick and roll actions. Because just figure something out like that. But no, I find all the fault in Penny and everything that Penny does.
I know you do. And we saw the pick and roll be effective. Obviously, Wichita State's not a great defensive team, but that's how the Tigers got going in the second half. They started 5 for 5. And when this team's not throwing the ball all over the gym because of their defense, they're usually in games. Is this a turning point? I don't know. I feel like I say this every couple of games, like, oh, that might have been it. We might have clicked. Alo was being aggressive, and that's that's what I mentioned earlier that I wanted to get back to is our point guard play in college basketball. Yes, your point guard needs to be able to set people up, but he also needs to be able to just go by someone and be able to lay the ball up, be a threat at the rim.
Yeah,
Alo's not. He hasn't been that. Boogie, no, like because Boogie wants to pull up. And he's crafty, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get by anyone. Maybe it's spacing issues, but so that's where I kind of stand on why I prefer Alo over Boogie is there are times when he can be aggressive and get right to the middle and like that, and then make something happen.
I like Alo to run the team because kind of like what I said, like Alo puts people in the right places. Alo. Mm-hmm. Before the season started, I think I was talking to my brother or somebody. I was like, Alo needs to average, not even needs to. Alo should average 6 or 7 assists a game because you got too many talented people around you. You get 2 to Musa every game. You get 2 to Nolly coming off curls, and then you get 2 to Lester's in the corner. Or you get another shot over here to somebody. It's easy to get assists when you got that many players around you. If you got the right system and the right plays going on, but if you just doing these pass and replaces, or this and that, and there ain't enough player movement and ball movement, whatever. Like I'm gonna start counting the passes. I used to do this when I used to do this between players. When I was coaching at White Station, we had Nick Smith and Dylan Mitchell, best friends off the court. Didn't really mesh well on the court. One time I counted how many times they passed the ball to each other. They are our best players. I did this like 3 games. They passed the ball to each other a total of 10 times in those 3 games. They didn't like each other on the court, but they were best friends off the court. Crazy stuff. I want to see how many passes they have each possession. I bet you it was less than 5.
Yep, and that's the thing I've been harping on too is if you don't come down and make the defense move, you're going to shoot a difficult shot and you're likely not going to make it. And then they're going to get it and be in transition. Your defense, which is elite, is not going to be set. And it's just all bad. Like it's just as bad as a turnover.
It's just as bad as a turnover because you're gonna shoot a long shot, long rebound. They're gonna get out and do whatever. You mentioned this earlier when you first started off with the excellent positioning of the game. That Wichita State before this was 4-1 in conference. How terrible is this conference? That Wichita State was 4-1. They are a terrible, horrible basketball team. Dude, I saw them airball at least 3 threes. Etienne, what was it? 1 for what?
1 for 12.
1 for 12, 3 points, and you're the second leading scorer in the conference. What?
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers are 3rd in KenPom in the conference, just to give you a reference of how that is.
That is ridiculous. When they said that, I said, come on, man. They beat Tulsa twice and Tulsa beat the Tigers twice. This is my thing, too. This is what I say. Penny can beat coaches. Penny's not that bad of a coach. He can beat coaches that he's better than. But he hasn't beaten a coach in conference, at least, that is better than him. Like he beat Randy Bennett with same areas. I think Randy Bennett's a better coach than Penny, but in conference, he loses to coaches that are better than him, and he has to change that. Like when the talent, not even that, because there's not really a talented team. It's not a team that's close to talent as Memphis. So I don't even want to say that. But yeah, I'm happy they won this game. Hopefully, it's a turning point, but. As you know, you shouldn't get that excited.
No, and I'm not. And let me stick up for my guy. I know he does have 2 wins over, I believe it's 2 wins over Greg Marshall. Maybe that doesn't look as good now since he kind of got the boot, but it's not for his lack of coaching ability.
All right, I'm hating a little bit. I'm hating.
It's okay. I'm here to keep you in line.
A little bit.
But you want to get into some superlatives or anything? I don't really have much more on the game other than stats. So we. Yeah,
I mean, the one thing I will say about the game, and I know it's difficult. I just put some ice in my mouth for whatever reason. And I know it's difficult, but I do believe this team will play a lot better if they were playing in front of fans. I think they're a young team. They feed off the crowd noise. And I mean, that is, you can say that for 85% of the teams playing in college basketball now. Hopefully they do take this as a time to get better, take a step up. The one thing that concerns me, though, is the fact that they were off for that long of a time, and they came back playing the exact same way. So hopefully there's some things you can learn a lot from these games. The things you can take away from, they had 10 turnovers in the first half, only had 6 in the second. Something to build on.
Okay, let me ask, how many college teams were you around in total from your years in college, and then after that?
4 teams with 4 years at Arizona, 1 year at Fresno State, and 2 years at USC.
Were any of those teams, because this is my theory on what's happening in Memphis. In practice, they look like the Memphis team we saw in the second half. And then they get in the game and the ball's going everywhere. They're almost paralyzed. They're paralyzing their skill set because they're trying to think so much. And like, I think back to my high school team, and in summer league, we didn't have a coach. We just an assistant, old black dude. He's like, hey, just go hoop. Like, and we were great. We didn't lose a game that summer. People knocking down shots. Then our coach comes back in the regular season. We trying to run plays and think about shit. I can't make nothing. Everybody else on the team sucks until we get into the fourth quarter. And then we got one guy who tries to bring us back. And it really reminds me of my high school experience watching this team when they struggle like they do. It's just like, y'all are thinking too much. Like you're trying not to make a mistake and just going out there and letting your natural abilities do what they do. It doesn't matter what offense you run. You're better than most of the teams you play. You got 6 top 100 recruits on this team. Guys who were recruited by Kentucky, Duke, you name it. Like, just if you are listening, Tigers players, just let your mind be free. I know it's not that easy. And just do what you do. Play ball. I just cannot fathom that their practices look like some of these games we've seen, as bad as they are. So is that something you ever had to deal with?
I can imagine that their practices aren't as competitive. Because I do think there's a delineation. Actually, I bet you their practices are pretty competitive. No, if I think about the roster of how the team is, I think they have
should be.
It should be competitive. We had a dude in Arizona named Chris Rogers. We used to call Chris Rogers a rec center all-star. Man, he'd go to the rec and destroy dudes. Boom, boom, boom. All types of stuff. Come in practice, can't get off the bench. Actually, Ciro got off the bench. But he just couldn't put it together when it came to actually having to be able to think basketball. When it came to just playing basketball, my talent is better than yours. I'm going to do that. So in Arizona, we had that. I'm trying to think. At SC, for sure, we would have these great weeks of practice, right? Great weeks of practice. And then we would play somebody and we just get knocked in the mouth. One of my favorite stories, one of the best stories. So we my senior year in Arizona, we made the NCAA tournament just barely. We were a 12 seed going against a 5 seed. We were a 12 seed. Utah was in the Mountain West at the time. They were a 5 seed. We played them in the first round, beat them. Played Cleveland State. Cleveland State is upset Wake Forest. Cleveland State had Norris Cole on it at the time. And he was a killer. We played them in the second round, beat them. So we go to the Sweet 16. We're in the Sweet 16. We're playing against Louisville. This is Louisville that had like, God, what's my boy name? His last name is Earl Clark.
Yeah.
And that team, Earl Clark, Terrence Williams was on that team. T. Will. And they were known for pressing, right? And so I think we played. Did we play a Thursday game? I think we played a Thursday game. So we got back from Miami to Tucson on that Sunday night, practiced all day Monday for their press. We had like 3 or 4 different press breakers for their press. And we looked great in practice, breaking our own press. We get against Louisville and Indianapolis, They beat us by 100,000 points because we could not break that press. That press look a lot different when it's Earl Clark and Terrence Williams and Edgar Sosa and all these other folks running it than it was when Kyle Falls and Jamel Horn running it in practice. So I'm assuming that that's what it is. I'm assuming that, they get into the game and they just see somebody else in a different uniform or in a different light. And like, damn, man, this ain't how they a little bit faster than Boogie when they're on defense. They can get there a little bit quicker. They jump a little bit higher, jump a little bit quicker. That's all I can think that it is, man.
Hey, well, I appreciate you acknowledging that because you could have easily been like, hell no, I ain't never seen nothing like that. That's Penny fault.
No, man. I love telling this story, dog. Them folks beat us by 70 points. I think they hold the record for like the largest win in an NCAA tournament. No, they couldn't because like one to beat a 16 by 60 or something. I don't know.
Bro.
I'm gonna look real quick.
When you were saying that, if you might as well have been up on the pulpit if any coaches are listening, because they're like, yes, yeah, like we were ready for the press.
Like, dog, they were. Let me see if I can find this game. Look, they beat us. They beat us 103-64. So what's that? 40 makes it one. They beat us by 39 points. I think saying they beat us by 100,000 sounds better.
70 was good. So I was convinced it was 70.
I'm gonna say 70. It sounded better. But nah, man. Like, what I want to see. Then we go into the superlatives. What I want to see from Penny and them the rest of this season is a clearer offensive focus. It doesn't even have to be something you can't drastically change it. Like, even if it's something as if Landers has to get a touch every time down the court. Doesn't have to shoot it, but get a touch. Or we're gonna make this move, do that. The defense is great, and he needs to cut the rotation down. You got to cut the rotation, and he's not going to do it because he got the Jordan Nesbitt dude that's signing is coming up now. So he's gonna take somebody's spot. It's probably gonna be Boogie. It's probably gonna be Boogie. I'm surprised Boogie's still there. If I was Boogie, I would have transferred this semester.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that Nesbitt kid is going to play, but we'll see. I mean,
it's like John Martin said, he ain't going to play right now
because he in quarantine.
But let them lose, and he needs somebody to, he thinks he needs somebody else. He'll put him in. But let's get to these superlatives, brother. Let's get to these superlatives. Player of the game. I am going to say my player of the game, Musa Cisse. Musa had a double-double. I think it's 12 points. Was it 10 points, 12 rebounds? 12 points, 10 rebounds? Let's see that.
12 and 10, 6 and 9 from the field.
Yeah, that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
And all those dunks. And so I got Musa and blocks and all that stuff. Play some great defense. He's a super energy guy. I don't know what they've been telling him. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't think he's ready for the NBA. So hopefully he comes back next year as a better player. But I think Musa was my player of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. And just real quick on Musa, I hate how the fans are kind of like, oh, he sucks because he can't make a shot. Like if you ever watched him in high school, you knew what you were getting. You knew you were getting a guy who you could not pass the ball to on offense and expect him to score on his own. He was there for defense, to be athletic, and to get rebounds and block shots. And to his credit, I do like his verticality. I think that's something that has improved a lot. And that's what the scouts are going to be looking at. But, I don't think he's NBA bound this year. I know it's cliche, but he's still supposed to be a senior in high school, blah, blah, blah. You can't expect him to be James Wiseman or Precious Achiuwa. There's a huge gap between those two.
Huge gap. There's a difference. Like I'm not watching on TV now, but like James Wiseman is starting for the Golden State Warriors right now.
Yeah, like all 5 stars are not the same. So, but with that being said, shouts to Musa. I'm gonna go with Landers Nolley. 8 points in each half, 4 or 5 from deep. If he doesn't score in the first half and hit those back-to-back buckets, who knows how this game turns? And, like we've already mentioned, this could be an important game that kind of turns the tides of this season. So based on that, I'm going with Landers. Led us in scoring, 4 or 5 from deep. If he doesn't score in the first half and hit those back-to-back buckets, who knows how this game turns? And, like we've already mentioned, this could be an important game that kind of turns the tides of this season. So based on that, I'm going with Landers. Really, the only one who seems to be consistently able to knock down a shot from anywhere on the court.
Right. Okay, your bum of the game. Who was the bum of the game?
Oh, I gotta give this to the homie Eddie. You averaging 18 points a game, scored 3, bro, and then you're on the bench at the end of the game laughing and stuff. Like, even Dockage had to say something bad about that. He's like, I guess it's not bothered too much. And I'm all for shaking it off. But once you get in the locker room and after the coach talks to you, that's when you shake it off. Like, you're supposed to still have a scowl on your face after you go 1 for 12 and have 18 points. Or, I mean, you average 18 points, you have 3, and y'all lose to the reeling Memphis Tigers.
Laughing on the bench. I hope the interim coach, when he watches this film, he sees he got to run. He got to run tomorrow. Like, you don't do that. Like you said, you hold that until you, or if you haven't learned anything from NBA players, put a towel over your face, move your hand, do something. Like, don't let people just see you laughing after you just getting beat by 20.
Hey, put a mask on, bro. Put a mask on. Shit.
Put a mask on and laugh. Ain't nobody gonna know. You're supposed to put a mask on anyway. Coronavirus out here. I think my bum of the game was I got 4.
Oh my God, are they all Tigers?
No. One is just Wichita State as a whole. The whole team just bummy as hell, just a bum ass team. Then I had Boogie because of my own expectations for Boogie. I think Boogie can be one of the best players on this team, but I don't know where the disconnect is. Then I had DJ, partially for the same reasons, but DJ stats are good. He had 5 points, 10 rebounds, or 6 points, 10 rebounds. So,
but if you watch the game,
But if you watch the game, he was out there being bummy. And then this dude is going to be a continuous candidate for bum of the game for me. And it's Lester Quinones. I don't like Lester Quinones. Something about him just rubs me the wrong way. Very punchable face. I just don't like. So he's gonna always be in the running for bum of the game, but I can't really give it to him because he held Etienne to 3 points. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm gonna either go with DJ or the entire Wichita State team. I'm gonna give them. They each get a bum of the game trophy for me. They can take this shit back to Kansas, Wichita.
You're not in Kansas anymore. You're in Memphis.
Take your ass back to Kansas. Sorry, motherfuckers. Them niggas can't. Good Lord. Okay. Play of the game. What is your play of the game?
Oh, my play of the game. All right. Well, I'm gonna let my boy on Wichita State slide because that shot he took right before halftime, bro, was dribbling on the other side of half court, crosses half court, like taking his time with 5 seconds to go, pulls up from deep, like from where the sponsor logo would be, or from on a high school court where the logo would be. 10 feet short, leaves it 10 feet short. But I'm gonna let him slide. My play of the game is that Musa block on Udeze, the one-handed snag where he just palmed it, brought it down, led to a bucket in transition. As I already mentioned, I thought that changed this game, that whole sequence. So I'm gonna go with that Musa one-handed block.
Man, you read my mind. That's the same thing I wrote. I think that was the play of the game. And changed the energy a little bit of that first half. And it impacted, which Musa does because he's so big, it impacted them going to the rim. They didn't really go, when you got a 7-footer back there, you got a 7-footer back there, it's tough to go in and get those layups. So yeah, that was my play of the game. I guess another one would be, I'm critical of Alo, so I'll give Alo a nod in the fact that he actually made a 3. So, this a benign ass play of the game, but there you go, Alo.
I will say his 2 threes, I let out audible like let's go, like finally.
The funny thing about the second 3 was it came after Dan Dockage was like, "Yo, you should just let Alex Lomax shoot," and the dude just kind of let him shoot, and he made it. And then Dan Dockage was like, "He's not gonna beat you with 3s," and the Tigers were up by 18 at the time. Like, he ain't gonna beat you with 3s, but they went in with them 3s.
Right.
And the next thing Who cost me money? So for the listeners, I have bet on every Memphis game so far. Different amounts, different. Sometimes I bet on the spread, sometimes I bet on the total. I don't really do money line bets because those are easy. Well, not now because you don't know if they're gonna win or lose. But there's not really much value in money line. So on this game, I bet that the Tigers would cover the spread. They were favored by 3.5, and they won. And so they didn't lose me any money tonight. So I am very, very happy about that.
Look at you betting on the Tigers. I expected you to say that you bet against them in each game.
No, I actually bet on them in each game. I actually bet because they favored, and they are so much better than some of these. They so much better than Tulsa. There's so much. You know what game killed me? Was it the South Florida? The South Florida game. The South Florida game killed me because I called myself. I bet on South Florida to win on the money line, and I bet on Memphis to. So I bet on two separate bets. One bet was South Florida wins straight out. The other bet was Memphis wins, but they win by 4 or 5 or whatever the spread was. So I'm like, okay, if South Florida wins straight out, the winnings that I get will cover this other bet that I made. So I don't really lose any money. But if Memphis doesn't cover, I lose both bets. I end up losing both bets. Like, because South Florida they were up the whole game and then they lost it with like 2 seconds, like 10 seconds to go or some shit, and Memphis didn't win by more than 5. So that's the one that hurt me the most. But I did win some money tonight with the Tigers, so I do appreciate that. And I kind of did the same thing with that tonight. I bet money on the Tigers covering the spread, and then I put a little bit less on Wichita State on the money line because they would have covered, and the winnings would have covered my losses. But
what you saying is you a hedging ass motherfucker.
Sir, my boy. Gonna win some money, my boy.
For all the things that are legal in California, where I reside, sports gambling is not one of them. Thankfully, I'm very thankful for that, and I don't indulge in the betonline.ag. I don't indulge in those offshore sites.
Yeah,
I have done it. And it did not end well. So I have not bet in probably 5 years. But I would have bet on the Tigers, obviously.
My wife likes to tell me I'm addicted. I don't bet that much money. Like the most I'll ever bet on anything is maybe $5.
Oh shit!
$5. I'm trying to out here be coy and shit. Nah, I put $5 on the Tigers to cover the spread.
$3 on
Wichita State.
Hey, it is what it is. That's better than betting money that you're gonna end up having to go to a loan shark for, So
that's what I do, man. Yeah. So that's that. Let's do one more thing. I thought this was pretty interesting, and since I know we can do it, I want to go here. I said let's look at some of the tweets that people were tweeting during the game. Can you see the tweets?
No, I just see the box score right now.
But
one thing I did find very fucking funny during the game was Wichita State had a freshman named Ricky Council IV. And, usually when someone's the fourth, you're like, okay, his dad's the third, whatever. But they do a little special. And that's not the case. His oldest brother is the second. The dad is the OG, the senior. His oldest brother is the second. His middle brother is the third. And then he is Ricky Council the fourth. Dad and mom were just like, man, fuck that shit. You're going to be 2, you're going to be Trip, and you're going to be Quattro.
Yo, we ain't thinking about this. Mom was like, yo, I just pushed this baby out. We ain't thinking about no names. 1, 2, 3, come here.
But I wish you and Justin were both had the same name, and one of y'all was Deuce and one of y'all was Trip.
First off, I've never heard of Trip. I heard Trip before. That's pretty fun. My old roommate in Fresno, his name was Heinrich Charles the Fourth. So he's a fourth. And I keep telling him if he has a son, he got to name Heinrich Charles the Fifth, We call him Cinco. Or
Cinco.
Yeah, Cinco. Come on, but he ain't had a kid yet. So let's check out some of these tweets. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what people talking about in Twitterverse during this game. We all know Memphis Tigers have seen great defense, but their offense is absolutely terrible. Yep. Conway's little brother. I swear to God, if the Tigers could miss layups, they might be undefeated. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, especially tonight. Jeez.
Right. I haven't watched much Tigers basketball this year, but the commentators of this game seem to absolutely hate both teams. Yo.
They were fair in their negativity towards both teams, I thought.
Memphis Tigers must think throwing away the ball scores points. If the Grizzlies and the Tigers play in the same arena, how do they get the hardwood blue? What do you think about the court? What do you think about the Tigers court?
That court, bro?
Yeah.
We ain't done shit since we got that court. That court, first of all, is trash. Second of all, when it first came out, it had 2 big dicks on it. Yeah, that was just something like, nope, just scratch that whole floor, start something new. Courts like that can look cool, but not. Maybe they can't. That might be lying. I can't think of one that looks cool like that.
I like the old court that had the skyline on it. That had the shadow of the skyline.
This is just way too much. Like the skyline was a lot, but it wasn't. It made sense because it was just on one side and the rest was basically a normal court.
Look at the fans. They got the band all spread out.
Hey, it look like Tubby's still coaching now.
Oh man, yo, well, brother, I think this was a great first show of the Kickback presents the post-game show. We might come up with a different name. I don't know. I ain't thought about it.
We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, y'all, I'm Jamal. That's the homie Mace. We'll be here with a couple of friends after every I don't want to say every. I'm not gonna commit us to that. After most Memphis Tiger games,
we're gonna try.
In Grizzlies games, so y'all can hear our take on it. We can break down the games however you want it. You got any questions? You got anything? Comments? Feel free to join the stream and check us out. This is the first ever show on the newly created Diamond in the Blood Media. So we about to get some good things popping here in Memphis, man, and with Memphis voices all over. So, Mace, you got anything you want to say before we get on up out of here?
Well, they won't be hearing about us after Grizzlies games for a while because the next 3 games are canceled. But the Tigers play Sunday against ECU.
Sunday against ECU will be the next time we get together, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, and hopefully when COVID is done and the Grizzlies can play a regular schedule, we can do this more often and have a good old time. So, with that being said, boom, there you go. Oh,
see, this is Jamal. You remember Jamal now, don't you?
I'm the one that won the dance contest at the wedding, the best dancer at the reception. So yeah, that's it for us. We'll catch y'all next time. Y'all be easy.
Peace.